Good morning and welcome to Cine Afrik, Spirit of Africa. Call me Movi, and every Saturday at 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. This is what we do right here on Home Affairs. We educate you, we inform you, and obviously we entertain you. Many thanks to the producer and my crew for holding it down every single week, and also to you who tune in. I just want you to know that you are more than welcome to contribute whenever we open the phone lines. I'll be giving you the number later on, but it is a blessed day. I feel blessed indeed, and I'm excited because, as you all know, Ghanaians are anticipating the game today, and I hope and wish that the Black Stars will make us proud. So all the best to the Black Stars. But today we're talking about dealing with a slow learner. Do you have one in your family? Are you one? Do you know one? Do you know about them at all? Well, I know that there are some in my family. I think I was a slow learner too. I don't know, but we're going to find out exactly how you can help a slow learner in the family. Don't forget, Health Zone is one of the segments that we have on the show where we inform you about some illnesses that are real, okay, that we all need to know about, and find all the cures and how to prevent them, everything right here. Health professionals will advise us. We also give you Fashion Buzz, where we tell you exactly what to do with your skin, hair, clothes, whatever. But today we're targeting men only. So men, we have some fashion tips for you. I am excited because my guest is seated in my mustard seats, and you know how that makes me feel, right? We are going to take our very first slot right here on the show. But many thanks to MVP Hair Product Center Geisha for supporting the show. Stay right where you are.
Maintaining a healthy pregnancy. I'll say before you think of even getting pregnant, one needs to plan how you're going to get pregnant first, when you want to get pregnant, and also how to maintain this pregnancy. So before you even think of getting pregnant, you need to see your doctor. It could be a general practitioner, it could be a specialist obstetric gynecologist, it could also be your midwife or any medical person that you come into contact with. Then from there, that person may introduce you to the idea or the right place that you have to go to for you to have a good and healthy pregnancy going on. So let's say you already planned your pregnancy, you want to get pregnant, and therefore you've been introduced to an obstetrician gynecologist to take you through that. But what normally is done is that before you get pregnant, or before you think of getting pregnant, we'll put you on certain supplements. We call it prenatal health supplement. It could be folic acid, it could be pregnant care, or some of the generic prenatal vitamins that we have around to help you or to help your system be able to adapt well to the pregnancy that you're going to go through. So let's say they've taken you already through all these processes and now you're pregnant. When you're pregnant, what you have to do is that the moment you find out that you're pregnant, you get to your obstetrician or you get to your midwife, and the midwives will help you plan your antenatal care. The antenatal care basically is the care that is given to this pregnant woman during the period of pregnancy. So what happens is that there are certain routine laboratories that have to be done to see how healthy you are, and if there are any new medical problems that come in during this pregnancy, it could be picked up early. It could be able to deal with it as early as possible and prevent any complications to the mother or the baby. Because at the end of the day, you want to have a healthy mother or a safe mother and a healthy baby, or a healthy mother and a safe baby. During antenatal, all these labs are done, and routinely we repeat these labs as well, and also give you prenatal, continue taking your prenatal vitamins, which will help in the well-being of this pregnancy as well. And the moment you also miss your period, an ultrasound scan is done to see even where the pregnancy is, because at times we have certain pregnancies occurring not in the womb itself but outside the womb, which you normally call ectopic, which is an emergency in obstetrics, because this ectopic can rupture or can break and cause bleeding, internal bleeding in your system, and it can easily kill you. So you need an early scan to ascertain the location of this pregnancy as well. During pregnancy, there are certain foods that might affect the baby. Therefore, we are advised not to be eating those foods. Some of the foods that might affect babies are shire, that traditionally is called, we call it pica. And what happens is that this affects or causes iron deficiency anemia in the pregnant woman. And therefore, if you're somebody who craves for such substance or such foods, you're advised not to be taking them. Other than that, any other food that will make you healthy during this pregnancy periods are green leafy vegetables, high fiber diets to help in your carbohydrate intake will also lead to a healthy baby and a healthy mother as well. There are other supplements apart from the prenatal vitamin that you take. Some of these supplements are calcium supplements that helps in the baby, the formation of good bones and strong bones in the baby. And also, you talk to your GP or pharmacist before taking any antenatal supplements. So you don't go sit somewhere and somebody say, oh, this drug is good, and therefore when my mother was pregnant, or when my sister was pregnant, when this person was pregnant, he took it, and therefore I can also take it. No. Any medication that anybody introduces to you, you need to talk it over with your physician, or you need to talk it over with your obstetrician or your pharmacist before you start taking them. And another thing is you also have to be careful about food hygiene, because anything that you take in affects you and affects your baby. So you make sure that whatever food that you're taking is hygienically prepared and is in good taste and is in good health. Another thing that can also help in maintaining healthy pregnancy is regular exercise. When you exercise regularly well, what happens is that you build your pelvic floor muscles, okay? That helps in delivery. During the delivery, it helps so much during delivery. Therefore, you don't tend to get problems with your pelvic floor after delivery. So what you have to do is you talk to your doctor. Doctor will also tell you how or what exercises have to be done and how much exercise you're supposed to do. The other thing that also comes with maintaining good healthy pregnancies is if you're somebody who drinks a lot of alcohol, somebody who drinks coffee, if somebody who smokes. During pregnancy, all these things have to be cut down, because there are certain syndromes, there are certain birth defects that comes about because of intake of alcohol during pregnancy, which we call fetal alcohol syndrome. Okay, these are birth defects that affect the face, the baby's mouth, baby's ear, and all that, and therefore you don't want your baby to go through that. So if you're somebody who drinks alcohol, the moment you get pregnant, you stop drinking this alcohol. Also, smoking also affects certain parts of the baby as well, and therefore when you're pregnant, you have to stop doing all these things to prevent fetal defects or congenital defects in the babies that you're going to have. Last but not least, you need to get enough rest during pregnancy. Okay, you don't overwork yourself, because when you have stress, you affect yourself and you affect your baby. Your health might not be in good shape, and therefore your baby's health might also be in good shape. So in a nutshell, what I would say is, anytime any woman gets pregnant, the first thing you have to do is tell your physician. Therefore, the physician introduces you to the obstetrician who's going to take care of you, a midwife who's going to take care of you. And from there, all these things will be put in place for you to be able to get a healthy baby and a healthy outcome of this pregnancy.
Well, if you just joined us, well, then you have not missed that much. But, our doctor was talking about, taking care of yourself when you're pregnant, antenatal, and all of that. You can also Google it if you didn't catch it, all right? But you can also catch it on Tuesday when we repeat it at 10:30 right here on Cine Afrik, Spirit of Africa. Wherever you are, trust me, if you're watching right now, then you have the best seat in the world. So stay right there. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, you'll be meeting my awesome guest right here in our studios.
103.9.
Hits FM 103.9.
Oh yeah! Things get better with Hits FM. Advertise with the fastest growing radio station in ACC, alright? Cause with Hits FM, you get results.
Dr. Robert Jangwa is my name. I'm the CEO of Elite Kingdom, Hits FM. If you don't go there, it's as if you are doing business in darkness. So come to light. Go to Hits FM and do your business there as a corporate entity. If you are a viewer or an audience, I want to recommend Hits FM because that's where you get things which will change your life.
Sika Motoweno and money Hits FM. So jump on board to maximize your profits. Hits FM, you get results.
Welcome back, everybody. And I should have been rocking our, Guinean colors, I know. But trust me, I'm rocking it in my heart. I know the Black Stars are going to make us proud. Make sure you're supporting them also on your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. But my fans are getting on my case for not saying my Facebook and, well, my social, pages enough. So I'm going to say one time today on Facebook and Instagram. You can reach me on Movi. On Twitter, you can follow me at MoviH, okay? When we open the phone lines, you're definitely invited to call us and give us your own 2 pesewas about, how to deal with slow learners. The number again is 0302-211-70124. I have the most amazing, the most handsome guest I've ever had in my studios. Eugene, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Movi.
How are you feeling today?
I'm good. How are you feeling too?
Very blessed, thank you. So what do you do for a living, Eugene?
Well, I'm a nurse, but currently I'm studying applied psychology in Delhi University.
Right. What do you want to do after school? I mean, do you want to go back to nursing or do you have a bigger aim?
Yeah, I want to go back to nursing, but I'm going to pursue clinical psychology.
Right.
That's what I want to do.
So obviously you're a very intelligent guy. You don't have any issues with, low self-esteem or not knowing something. When you want to learn, you definitely grasp it, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Have you had any experiences at all with slow learners?
Yeah, true. I've had experiences with slow learners in the family and some were back in school.
Right.
There are people in the class that it's not always that they do get what is taught, or when they read to, it's not always that they grasp it.
Right.
Yeah, so it's been difficult for some people along the line.
I don't know if you know this, but abroad in the Western world, there are special schools, and they specialize basically in whatever that child is going through, like if it's autism, which is a very severe disorder in kids. Well, and even some grown-ups, they have challenges learning and identifying things that a normal brain would. Do you think that it's fair that kids like that in Ghana are put in, the normal schools? Do you think that they should, be encouraged to go to special schools rather than mixed with everybody?
I think they should be put in special schools because I would say our country, Ghana, a lot of things, people are at a disadvantage when it comes to issues like that. Because for someone to be a slow learner, it's often genetic or it's a chromosomal disorder that is mostly in Down syndrome. Yeah. Yeah, so there are categories as in when the person falls within a severe, a mild or a moderate, disorder. Based on that, you can assist the person knowing where the person falls. Right. Yeah, so they should be in special schools because the normal system, it wouldn't help them. Right. Really? And it doesn't.
But I think, we all have different opinions. I think sometimes the normal schools challenge them, a little bit. But I've been to a special school here, not myself. I visited a special school. And the way they're treated is like, they're being pushed, or should I say they're being brainwashed to understand that they are dumb. Do you know what I mean? But that shouldn't be the case.
It shouldn't
They should rather, they should enhance what they have.
Yes.
Because I believe every single human being has a learning ability. You know,
Sure.
once you're created, nobody teaches you to crawl.
No.
Nobody teaches you to walk or stand.
Not
So
at
I
all.
think kids are the smartest in the world.
Very smart,
But
yeah.
I believe we Africans also, we try to, we put pressure on a child when they are not doing something fast enough.
That's very true.
And the comparison, what do you think? I mean, in your family, do you see, you know, your mother or father or auntie trying to compare one child to another, especially when it comes to academics?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure in the home, you know, based on someone's previous performance or someone's smartness.
Yeah.
They try to compare everyone else. Everyone wants you to be like that person, you know,
Yes.
which shouldn't be the case.
Exactly.
Every child is special.
Exactly. But then again, I mean, obviously, smart kids, they have the brain. And so they should be encouraged. But when you find a situation where a smart child lives with a, you know, a special needs child, what do you think the parent can do to support each of them in their own, you know, strengths? What can a parent do?
I think the first step is really identifying that there is a problem. So if you realize there's a problem there, you can be able to, you know, get a necessary assistance. You know, you get your child those learning aids.
Right.
Yeah. Or if the child needs a special school, so you put the child in the special school.
Right.
And also you should, a lot of love and care should accompany those child.
Affection, yeah. Definitely. I also believe that sometimes, you know, our parents, they don't do much to the child, a growing child especially. The minute you tell a child that they're dumb, they're going to have that at the back of their minds till they grow up. So we should watch the way we speak to our children. They're listening, you know, although they're kids, they have a very retentive memory, and sometimes it goes a long way to, you know, affect their whole being or their whole existence. So parents, please watch it when you're talking to that child. No matter how angry you are, never use, you know, derogatory words. It's really, really bad. All right, so let's try and boost their ego rather than dampen it. We're taking a short break. This is my take, and it is a very influential young woman who is going to tell us exactly what she thinks about dealing with a slow learner.
My name is Mrs. Victoria Kumbuo. I work at the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration as a Senior Assistant Registrar at the HR department. My background is in training and development, and I'm a learning and development practitioner. I have a family of 3, 2 girls and a boy. Personally, I think that I became sharp when I was in class 4. When I was growing up, and my mother still has some of primary school test papers. I think from class 1 to class 3, I didn't know what I was doing. The test papers are not the most proud things that I like to flaunt. But class 4, I think I picked up. And again, that comes up to the children develop at different levels. They develop at different levels. Class 4, I picked up, and that was it. And so by the time I got to class 6, I started common entrance with people in Form 4, then elementary system, and I passed, you know. But how did I come to that point? My mother never made me feel that I couldn't do it. So when we came home and others were celebrating, even when I was last but one or last, she would also give me an egg, just to let me feel good and tell me the next time if I do better, she'll give me 2 eggs instead of 1, you know. And as a teacher, I've had to deal with pupils. When I was teaching in the basic school, I've had to deal with some people who are slow learners, and those become my special friends. You need to pay attention to them. And so when you give work to the rest of the class, you need to go to them, try and help them figure out what they're doing, try to explain to them what they. So it may be necessary to set different levels of tax for the class. And at home it's the same. My kids, they are a mixture. One of them was not as smart as I would have wanted that child to be, but I understood that these things happen. Maybe because of my background in education, I understood that these things do happen. But I also recognized that in that child there was a potential, and that something good could come out of her. And we worked together, and she turned out right. Okay, she was able to make it to university. But the beginning, she was slow. She is still slow in doing things. But there are the others who are very fast, and within a minute, before you even ask the question, the answer is thrown at you. So this is some kind of personal thing that I have had to encounter. Society has kind of set some parameters. We have predefined characteristics of a child that is intelligent, what we refer to as intelligent. Now, if a child does not fit within that framework, then we say that the child is a slow learner. We even go to the extent of describing them as unintelligent, which I think is a bit derogatory, because every human being created by God is intelligent. The level of intelligence may vary. And so when you have a child that is described as a slow learner, basically what it means is that that child is not as smart as we think the child should be. The child maybe has some challenges picking up things mentally. They may not be able to respond as fast as we want them to do academically. These are the children who typically are at the bottom of the class, and so when you are with them, they are not the ones that you would see receiving awards in school. At home, they are the ones that when it comes to problem solving, they are dependent on you to help solve every problem for them. They are not the smartest kids that one would find around, and so we tend to describe them as slow learners, which means that they can learn, except that the pace at which they learn as compared to what we describe as normal, it's slower for them. Which then means that if you're a parent and you're dealing with such a child, or you are managing such a child, you have to admit that you are unintelligent, in the sense that you are unable to read that child, because that child certainly has certain potential. The child has certain skills that you are unable to identify. And so in that instance, you are the unintelligent one. And so how do you then address this problem? It is not by making comparisons, which is what we tend to do. We compare them to the normal ones that we have around. We tend to relegate them to the back. We tend to ignore them. And in the process, they cry for our attention. In crying for our attention, some tend to be stubborn. Some even become delinquent. And so yelling at them, making those mockery statements, oh, you're stupid, you don't know anything, why are you not like Amma, why are you not so and so? Every time you are at the bottom of the class, you're always last. That's not how to manage it. Sometimes we think when we say those things to them, it will rather fire them up to do better. But it's something that is a natural thing, that insulting them wouldn't help. So the best thing to do is rather find out, what is it that is special about this child? What is it that is unique about this child? How can I help this child to pick up things faster than he or she has the ability to do now? It may involve seeing a learning specialist to help identify the ways that they can learn. Because some people learn with their hands, some are good with their hands, some they have talents that is not the traditional, the typical go to school, win awards, you are at home, once they ask a question, the answer pops up. No, for some people they need to process it, they need to go through various things. Some need to even have objects around them to help them try and create whatever picture or give whatever answer it is. So in managing them as a parent, number one, you need to admit that this is a unique gift you have gotten from God, and therefore you need some special understanding to be able to read this child and help bring up the child. It may involve getting a specialist, as I said earlier on. You will have to be very patient and have that extra love for the astro. When something is special, you treat it specially. And so yes, you love all your kids, but this person deserves additional attention and get them involved in the things that everybody is doing. But don't set the same standard for all of them. They need to have different standards, and then encourage them in what they do. If it is at school level, you may want to have extra classes teacher. You need to involve their teachers, engage their teachers, so that you work with their teachers and get them to learn in class just as their friends do, so that they are not relegated to the back, so that they are not abandoned, they are not ignored, and create a home environment that exudes love, that shows love and care for them, and that makes them feel worthy as members of the family, because at the end of it, they have something to offer. They have a potential, God-given one, and as a parent, you need to help them unearth that potential.
That's a lot of information, I know, but she touched on every single aspect of life. Thank you so much, Madam Victoria. If you just joined us, well, I'm sat here with the most amazing looking guest I've ever had in the whole entire world, Eugene, everybody. And we're talking about how to deal with a slow learner in the family, in the home, in school, and all of that. So if you have any contributions, please, I'd like to hear from you. It's 0302 211-70124. You're also more than welcome to like our Facebook page. That's Cine Afrik, the TV channel, obviously. And make sure that you're commenting. I have a few comments here before I jump in with Eugene again. This one is from Nana Yao Asawa Jr. Says, I'm a slow learner and I need help. Greetings to friends. Kati Ampofoa, disaster. It's too early for that. Super, etc. And the BECE graduates at Quay Estates. I hope I'm saying that right. Maxwell Obina says, I'm a learner. I think you wanted to say a slow learner. And everybody is a learner. Nobody is perfect. Well, you're right about that. Everyone obviously comes into this world to start at a certain level. But I think society obviously has set the standards when it comes to IQ. But it's something that cannot be, pushed. I don't know, since you're a nurse, you have experiences with people coming into your wards, and you have a way of either evaluating them, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you know? What's the first thing you notice when you see a slow learner?
Well, to say a slow learner, I think when we put our perspectives to the Down syndrome, these are people who, by virtue of their chromosomal disorders,
Right.
do not really fit or cannot perform the same activities that any normal person who is not with this disorder can perform.
Right.
Okay, so they mostly, depending on the severity of the condition, some cannot really take care of themselves or do the activities of daily living.
Right.
Some feeding or even grooming is difficult.
Right.
Then when you get to the classroom situation, because these people, have this defect that really doesn't fit them in the normal society, it's difficult for them to learn or adapt to the situation which every other normal person is adapting to in their classroom.
But you're touching basically on Down syndrome and stuff like that. But I know, I'm not a nurse, but I know there are people who don't have Down syndrome, but are a bit slow in their thinking and acting. Even when it comes to the academics, they don't take the hard, subjects like science and maths, but they're very good in the arts. So even slow learners have their strengths, don't they? What do you have to say about that? A parent who thinks their slow learning child has no hope?
That shouldn't be. Well, I think for learning to be effective, there is the need to have a desire,
right,
or to have some interest in what you are learning. And what happens in most cases is that people have the desire to really read or learn something else. It might not be necessarily the classroom setting.
right,
Yeah, people may want to learn something outside the classroom.
yeah,
So when that somebody sits in the classroom and is forced to learn the maths, the science, and all those steps, he might not grasp it.
right.
Yeah, so if the interest is not there, it's difficult for the individual to really,
even a smart person would not be able
something.
to. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you have to say to people who want to get pregnant for the very first time? I read something that obviously, you know, the lifestyle of a pregnant woman can play a huge role in the way the child, you know, is formed. What do you have to say about our modern, you know, world now, where everybody's into fast food and, you know, they do formula the minute the child is birthed? What advice do you have for mothers?
Well, I think in pregnancy, you need to really observe some rules. If you really want to give birth to a healthy baby, you need to really take good care of yourself, and you eat well, you have rest, you rest enough, you really attend your antenatals so they can check the progress of your pregnancy. You need to, you know, have that support. You rest enough, don't work too much. You avoid drinking, smoking. You know, if you indulge in all these things, it goes in the long run to affect the formation of your baby.
Right.
It affects, you know, the genes, the chromosome, the pairing becomes altered.
Right.
Yeah, so when you give birth to that baby, he or she is going to have problem.
Right.
You're going to rather bring some suffering onto the child.
Right.
So it is very good, very right that each woman, once you know you are pregnant, even if you had been used to doing those things, at least you try as much as possible to stay away from them.
Right. So break those habits, basically, especially if you're smoking, drinking, you know, not getting enough rest, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I also think sometimes, you know, especially when the baby is born, parents don't do much for that child. You know, they think, oh yeah, everybody is doing, you know, technology. So once the baby is born, babysitter is even a robot, you know, is a television. They just put the baby in front of the TV and go by their business. But I think these things slow a child, don't they? Because they will be used to just seeing things in pictures all the time. And once that you put them in the classroom, they get a bit confused. Like, okay, I used to, you know, learn ABC on the TV with all these, you know, graphics, and now I have to just adapt to a new way of learning. What advice do you have to say, do you have for parents who basically rely on modern technology for everything when it comes to raising their children?
I think parents, not only the mother, but both the mother and then the father need to really do a lot in taking care of the child, especially when they are still very young.
Right.
They need to really, you know, they shouldn't just leave the child to the babysitter or just not paying attention to the child, just leaving the child there. It shouldn't be the case. You know, if I should focus on the mother, I think recently...
Why only the mother, Eugene? Why are you putting so much pressure on us already?
Because I want to talk about breastfeeding.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. It's in recent days, some mothers do not really indulge in the exclusive breastfeeding.
That's true.
Which it goes a long way to hurt the child. You know, there are good components in the breast milk that the child needs to survive, and then it will aid the child, you know, in dealing with situation. It will just nourish the child. Right,
but some people disagree, especially when the mother doesn't look very fit. You know, in Ghana, when you're pregnant, they expect you to put on a lot of weight, you know, so you can have a whole lot of breast milk. But doesn't mean that a slim mother would not be able to give much nutrients to their newborn. I want to understand that.
That's not true.
Okay.
The body really has its own mechanism. Once you have the baby, the body is going to produce the milk, and you are to give it to the child. You know, the baby formula and all that do not have the necessary ingredients in there to help this child. There are things in the breast milk that would help this child fight diseases, that would nourish the child and give him or her that growth, that desired growth that is required. And these baby formulas, most or all of them do not have that. They are
the natural
essential components that they don't have.
Right.
So the breast milk is very important. And exclusive breastfeeding.
Right. For 6 months, everybody. So if your wife is not doing that, make sure you are pinning her to the bed and putting the baby to the breast by force. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, more of this right here. Don't forget, you can also tell us what you think. Back in a moment.
Pan bebentia or bawusika. Now the best you kunu amana sofa. Bema wusika would the best you hear Emma what break. Na yen send me bri. I think it was a banisa. Or do alma sunye. One yanny baby be pipe and we say Emma wo. Enti yet wada fiada. Eye adum TV. Wukuada memrenda. Eye adum radio. Or for radio they don't do. Ni ashase do me ni de kwa wiye e ba TV no so dia e ye wade biara ani efie de biara enyum du ba ko ni ashase don ko ni de kwa wiye na so na be sorry so no empem anko special bi wo ha ye gro ema awafo ye gro ema awafo ti se wo ware ye dia sa empem agro no e ho hia nenso no wo pese wo mpana twie emu daho nebe boamu eni adaho dia letimi awade dia ende ye wada na efe de bia no enwumedu ba ko na enfi wa don TV wati ye woni mapa edimamo so say asesa ye shake ebe bebre ya wa me mi wate me da say.
Welcome back. We're talking about dealing with a slow learner. And on Home Affairs every single week, we have the Today's Diary, and that's where we tackle all these issues. If you have any suggestions, make sure you're contacting my #1 producer, Mami Adjo, about that, about things that you'd like to learn about, because we want to make sure that we're educating you on the things that you're more interested in. And yeah, sometimes we will bring you the odd ones. But Eugene is here. He's a student and he's a nurse, and he has a lot of experience with dealing with people. So we're getting a lot of advice, medically and on the social front. What do you have to say, though, about people that you have had, a relationship? Like, let's talk about your family. What do you say about how they deal with their, their disorder?
I think these children actually need a lot of care, a lot of love and affection. When you just see the child as a slow learner, and you look at that child as someone who really can't achieve anything, and you keep chastising that child all the time. You shout on the child when the child does something you don't see as should be done. You shout, you say that shouldn't be right now. You scold them. It wouldn't help the child. If you rather care for that child, show some love, tell the child, yeah, there's the potential there. You just encourage that child to really get there, and she will.
Great. All right, we have this message that says managing the home is the primary duty of every parent, and it's also parents should always try to understand that no child is stupid, unless, of course, we fail to identify their talents and appreciate them. To me, I would say like the stars on, I think you wanted to say, in the sky, every child is special, not a slow learner or stupid. And it's from Suwala Konetic. Oh, in Wa. I hope I said that right. More messages here. This one is on our Facebook. It says, I really like the show and keep it up. Ajiman Ampaboa Kwesi Seth. Thank you very much. Jonathan Kofi Wayo says, it's a disgrace to you people, the world. Okay, I didn't get that. But Chur Weddy says, good to hear this. I love the program. Please keep it up. Thank you very much. Josephine Kwasin says, whoa, I love this program. Thank you very much, but I'd like to hear your opinions also. Sebastian Entry Capture says, I would love to watch it, but ECG won't let me. That's another show altogether. Raz Signal J says, this is really a great program. I really enjoy it. Wow, guys, we are so humbled by your messages. West Nachi Man, I think you're communicating with somebody else. Nana Kofi, as someone says, I'm watching you live from Ahojo Kumasi. I love your program. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Mwah, mwah to everybody in Kumasi and my Nigerian fans and everybody. Josephine Onuche says, Joseph Onuche. Yeah, my brain was going a little fast. Says, my name is Joseph. I base here in Nigeria. Please, I want to know what are really the cause. What is really the cause of this dullness and not intelligent in catching up in time, intelligent and smartness? I didn't quite get that, but I think he wanted to say what is the cause of slow learning.
Yeah, I think basically I don't want to hit it in the direction of the Down syndrome again, but basically that is the interest. Someone may have interest in something else which is not in the classroom.
Right.
Okay. So if that person is put in the classroom, because the interest is not there, that person might be slow or might not just grasp it.
Right. But also, especially when it comes to the family setting, especially when there are like 2 or more kids, parents tend to dote on the child who is more brainy, the child who is more intelligent. I mean, I don't know how you obviously are not a parent yet, but you've been through that. You have siblings, don't you?
Yeah.
So how was your mom's skills on parenting when it came to either acknowledging someone's work, or do you know what I mean? How did she deal with your differences?
Well,
I know you did say that you're a smart child, but I'm sure that it wasn't the same level. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't the same level. Growing up with my big brother, we're going to school together. He was 3 years ahead of me. But I could see that competition in the house.
Right.
I was a little smarter. So although we're not in the same classroom, at the end of the term, when our results come out,
right,
they get to compare these results, although we are not in the same classroom.
Really?
Yeah.
That is terrible.
Yeah, very terrible. This result gets compared, and I'm told, I did better or I'm smarter. And, they do encourage me in that regard. When I do great, I get the token of, those days.
Sweets and stuff like that.
The egg, egg promise.
What do you have to say about that? Let's touch on that. Gratification. I mean, should it be immediate, or should the child be taught how to wait for it or work for it?
I think it doesn't necessarily need the gifts or those tokens being given. When the child does something that is commendable, tell the child that is great. Right. You did well. And in other situations, if you need to give a token or that, you give it.
Right.
It encourages the child. So next time the child wants to do more or wants to achieve more to end that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, with slow learners, I don't know what you think, but sometimes when they do wrong, obviously because they're slow, you know, people tend to feel sorry for them and you pity them and you almost patronize them. Do you know what I mean? Do you think we should be aware that they actually know that they are slow learners? Have you ever found a situation where a parent didn't do too well with, you know, their slow learning child not doing well?
I think,
and how they dealt with it?
Yeah, I think I said in the beginning that, you know, when the problem is there, first step is you should identify that it's there.
Right.
Yeah, so if you are able to realize that your child has this problem, then you will know how best to deal with that child, and you know you don't have to treat that child like you treat every other child in the house.
Right.
You know? You should treat that child in a special way.
Okay.
That child requires even more love and more care than all the other children, even the smart ones in the house.
We have a phone caller. Well, hello, Bembele. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Baya, good morning, darling.
Good morning, Mosey. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm looking great this morning.
Thank you, thank you. What do you have to say about slow learners?
Yeah, that is the problem I encounter with one of my siblings.
Okay.
I think most parents discourage these people. They try to frustrate them, and they feel they are rejected in their family.
Mm-hmm.
What I advise that parents should not compare. They should stop compare that maybe Kwesi is higher than you or not. They should look at the point that they should give encouragement to this kind of child. And I think he grew up with it. I think now he's coping up, actually. He's doing well.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that.
That is it. I try to even come in to advise the mother about it, that you should take care in treating this. I think in doing so, you frustrate. And parents must be creative in the house. You must be creative. If you're a parent and you're not creative in the house, how can your children get up? You need to do something to inspire the child, inspire the girl or the boy.
Right.
Bring out something. At the end of the day, the future belongs to the child. It's not you. So you have to do something for the child. So thank you for having me once again.
Oh, thank you so much. We have Joe also on the line. Hello, welcome to the show. Joe? Did we lose Joe? I think we did. But what do you have to say? I mean, I like I said, I wasn't the smartest child in my family. But sometimes I feel like, you know, slow learners are labeled as the black sheep automatically. You know, the fact that you can't grasp things very well, you're labeled the black sheep, you're the bad one. What do you have to say to parents if you were a slow learner and they said, okay, yeah, you wouldn't amount to anything. Nothing good can come out of you. You're stupid. What do you have to say about that?
I think it's not the best, and it doesn't help the child. You know, even if the child doesn't seem to have that potential, telling that child nothing good comes out of you or nothing, it's going to put the child down more. You know, if you learn to encourage this child, if you learn to give this child some support,
right,
it goes a long way to rather bring this child out of that situation.
Right.
You help the child to adapt, accommodate with the situation. You know, encouraging the child helps, not putting the child down.
Right. We have Theophilus on the line. Welcome to the program, darling. Good morning. Theophilus?
Good morning. How are you, ma'am?
I'm blessed, thank you. How are you?
I'm also good, my God.
You sound a bit tired, though.
Yeah.
Why, did you just get back from work? You do the night shift?
I'm still in bed, not awake yet, but still enjoying your program.
Thank you very much. What do you have to add?
I have a slow learner.
Male or female? Sorry.
It's a male, happens to be my third child.
Have you contacted, have you sought any professional help, though?
Yeah, I did. I've been taking him to medication at the Reach Hospital.
What was the diagnosis? What did they say?
Actually, the doctor recommend that we should be bringing him a checkup every month. And in actual fact, I let the mother took him to hospital because myself, I'm not always available.
Right.
But listening to your program this morning, what I've learned is that from the boy is that he's good in art. Maybe forming things with clay.
Like I said.
Yeah. And then sometimes drawing, he can add certain things on paper and paint it. It is very amazing.
So they're very artistic. He's very artistic. Are you trying to, let him improve on that more? Have you thought of, taking him to a special school for artists or something? Oh, I think we lost that.
Fact, your program has just enlightened me about the whole issue.
Oh,
because I was actually confused. I don't know what to do because there are 4, and he happens to be the first child, and the rest 3 of them are very clever.
Right.
And myself too, as the father, I was very clever too.
You know
we
what?
always have problem with him, but now I've heard of your program.
Thank you.
I've been educated.
I'm very excited about that. He could be the next Picasso from Ghana. So all the best with that, okay? We have Benjamin on the line. Welcome to the program, Benjamin.
Good morning.
Good morning, darling. Can I hear a little smile in your voice? That's much better. Okay, so tell us, what do you have to say about slow learners?
I'm just enjoying the show, live and contact. And I also have the same problem in my house. My junior sister, we think she's so down and there sometimes.
How old is she?
Yeah. She's not 14 years now.
Right. 40?
And now that and she's 14.
Oh, 14, okay.
Yeah.
And what are you doing to help your sister?
Well, she was in a government school, but now we transferred her to a private school to see whether she can improve. And actually, yes, there is improvement. I think by now she can read and she can also do some other things. So I'm impressed, and I just like the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Big up.
Thanks a lot. Many thanks. I don't take all the credit, like I say, every time. Mami Adjoa, the producer, my cameraman, lighting, everybody really does well here. So we really appreciate your words of encouragement. But unfortunately, we have to wrap it all up very quickly. I think we have fashion buzz for you men, like I promised, how to shave. So make sure you're taking some tips. You don't want all the bumps and, razor cuts and all that. Watch.
On Fashion Buzz today, we show you how to shave right. Whether you're ready to have your first shave or you've been shaving for years but aren't sure if you're doing it correctly, doing your homework and following these steps will help you get a great clean and close shave and avoid shave irritation. 1. Trim hair with clippers or scissors if you're starting with a full beard. Electric clippers are best for this purpose. Secondly, wash your face with an exfoliate facial wash. Some people like to use a hot washcloth. The heat and moisture will help to soften your beard and lift up the hairs, as well as open your pores. However, be careful that the water isn't too hot. Hot water slackens skin and pulls moisture away. Have your shave kit ready for when you finish washing your face, so you can start right away before your beard has a chance to dry and your pores a chance to close. Put a few drops of shaving oil in the palm of your hand and rub it into your beard before applying the shaving cream. This will allow the razor to glide across your skin and will help to reduce razor burn. 5. Apply your choice of shaving cream with a shaving brush. 6. Pick the right blade. Your choice of blade should be made individually, but you should take into account the coarseness of your beard, the texture of your skin, your preferred shaving method, and other details. For heavy bearded men with more sensitive skin, it is generally good to use a multiple blade razor. 7. Start with one side of your face and work steadily towards the other side, doing small sections at a time. 8. Rinse your face with warm water and then run your fingers over your face to find any rough areas that you may have missed. Rinse your face in a cool water and pat dry with a clean towel. Apply a non-alcohol shaving balm. Aloe and tea tree oil can help prevent dry skin and razor burn. 10. Soothe any nicks or small cuts after shaving by drenching your face in cold water. This will help to close up the cuts and stop bleeding. You can then apply witch hazel to soothe the cuts and prevent razor burn. Then add small pieces of moistened kitchen paper or toilet roll to the cuts that still bleeds. Take care of your shaving implements. Rinse and dry your equipment thoroughly and store in a dry place. Clean equipment is less likely to introduce bacteria and infections to your open, freshly shaved pores. Change the blades as needed. A dull blade will leave your face feeling raw and sore and is much more likely to cause razor burn.
All right, unfortunately, we have to wrap it all up. So your final words, Eugene, before we go.
Well, what I want to say is this slow learners should be allowed enough freedom, enough time to do what they feel like doing. And when they allow this time, you know, it can help their parents realize or see what these children really want to do or what is good for them, what they really feel like doing.
Right.
Yeah, so they need enough freedom and also a lot of attention.
Right.
You know, in the classroom setting, the other children who are fast and those smart learners, you know, they may require just some few minutes, or when it's taught, then they just grasp it. So these slow learners should really be
given time.
Yeah, given a lot of
up.
time, a lot of devotion. You know, more time, more steady time, more, you know, help. Yeah,
Right.
so that
more
would
attention.
really more attention.
Thank you so much. Well, before I do go, I'd like to thank MVP Hair Products and Geisha, naturally caring for your family skin. Make sure you're getting it in rose, aloe vera, lemon, and coconut milk. Many thanks to Elite Hair Studios, right opposite the Texpo Market on the Spintex Road, for hooking me up. My hair and nails look gorgeous, don't they? I love it. And to Susanna Createur for my lovely gown. Thank you very much. Without you, I don't think I could look this good. Before I do go, however, I'd like to say this to all parents, that, you know, children are... they were created with this infinite capacity to create things, to learn, and also to contribute their own quota. Now, if we all have that at the back of our minds and we make a conscious effort just to, you know, enhance their natural abilities to also contribute to society, trust me, our children will shine someday. Okay, so make sure that you are giving them the you know, chance to prove themselves. Encourage them. When they are down, make sure you're uplifting them. That's why you're a parent. Please stop making excuses. Because personally, I think that parents who always say, I tried, are just consoling themselves for the bad choices they made when it came to their kids. Call me Movi. Till next time, Ghana, world, go Black Stars. Have a great day. Mwah.